Welcome back to another episode of AI with Prasant. And on this video, we're going to be learning how you can create your own agents from scratch. We will not only build just one agent, but we'll be building two agents that are going to collaborate with each other and produce an output. You'll also learn about tools and what they are and how you can create your own, and also learn about some of the basics of OpenAI Agents SDK. So let's get right into it. All right, so let's talk about the project that we're going to be building today. And this is going to be for one of my fictitious friend, Jolly, and he is a content creator. And the problem that he's having right now is he has to do his own research and come up with a script that are very engaging for his audience. So what we want to help him out is with a multi-agent system where we have a couple of different agents where one will go and research about a certain topic. And we will also have another one that will take the content of that research and convert that into a script for the reels or any videos that he's going to be working on. So let's help him out. Let me quickly demo the finished product of this project first, so you guys have an idea of what we're going to be building. Here I have the project up. So if I just quickly run it here, you'll see it says type the prompt. I'm just going to say research about MCP and give it a minute. And you can see research agent has produced output and it's engaging a writer agent. And finally, we have a response with a hook, and there's title, description, hashtags, and call to actions and everything. So this is really going to help Jolly and make him jolly, because now he doesn't have to go research about any topic and or come up with his own script. All right, with that, so because we're going to be building our agents in OpenAI Agents SDK, let's quickly take a look at their documentation. If we type in OpenAI Agents SDK in Google and click in here, they have a very good documentation on what these agents can do, all the tools they offer, how you can integrate MCP into it, about handoffs, orchestration, how you can trace, context management, and all that kind of stuff. So quickly, you can see we need to install the package that's called OpenAI Agents. And because this is a Python SDK, we want to make sure we have the Python installed on our computer before we get started with this. So if you are on Mac, we're going to be using Python 3.13. So just type in brew install Python at 3.13. And once that is completed, you will have Python 3.13 installed on your computer. But if you are on Windows, you can go to Python 3.13 Windows installation, just search it up. And the first one on the list should be the one you're looking for. Just go ahead and install it. And once you go through the installation process, you should have your Python installed on the computer as well. Now, once that is out of the way, let's go ahead and create a new folder for our project today. Open the VS Code. I'm going to open folder. And in Documents, AI with Prashant. By the way, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Create a new folder here. I'm going to call it OpenAI Basics and open that up. Cool. So now that we have Python installed on our computer, let's go ahead and create a virtual environment. The virtual environment is helpful because it helps us isolate all the packages we installed to this project, so we are not interfering with the installation of packages outside of this project or on your system. So to create a virtual environment, I'm going to call Python 3.13 -m venv and give it a folder name. That's going to be venv. Great, we have our virtual environment set up. Let's go ahead and activate that. To activate that, we have a bin folder and an activate script right here. So I will just be calling that with source.venv bin and activate. And once it's activated, you'll see there's a .venv on your left. To make sure our Python is installed, let's just check the Python version from our virtual environment. And you can see we have Python 3.13.9. All right. Once that is out of the way, let's go ahead and create a new file and call it requirements.txt. And this is where all the packages that we need for our project will go. So since we're going to be using OpenAI Agents SDK, let's go back. And here you see OpenAI-agents is what we need. We're going to quickly add that on our requirements.txt. Awesome. Let's go ahead and install the packages. So to do that, we will do bin pip, because pip is the one that will install all our packages. And we're going to say install everything that are in our requirements.txt folder. That will take a couple seconds, and here we go. Okay, so next thing we need to do is set up our environment variable, and we need to have the OpenAI API key in our environment variable if you want to run the agent. So let's go ahead and do that. To do that, search for OpenAI API platform, and make sure you have an account with OpenAI so you can go ahead and create one. And they might ask you for the credit card, but trust me, it's not going to cost you a lot of money. The tokens are really, really cheap. So click into OpenAI platform, and because I'm already logged in, it will just immediately land me here, which is fine. But click on settings and go to API keys, and this is where you'll be generating your API key. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new one, call it Agents Basic Key, and you can select the project. I will just be selecting a default one because I don't have any created. And in terms of permissions, you can also set a restricted permission to any model capabilities. Say you only want this token to be, this API key to be used for image generation or chat completions, then you could do that. We're not going to do anything with it on this video. So let me go ahead and create a secret key. And if you're thinking of stealing this key, well, bad news, I'm going to be clearing this out as soon as this video is up. So let me copy over my API key into a env variable file that will be .env and OpenAI API key equal that. All right, I think we should have the basic setup. Let's go ahead into the documentation again and quickly copy over this hello world example. And for that, let's just create another file, call it agent.py. This is where all our agent related code is going to go. And then I'm going to paste it over here. So to make sure that everything is running perfectly fine or everything is set up correctly, let me just do a quick run of this hello world project. That will be Python agent.py. Okay, great. So looks like our environment is set up correctly. Our API key is set up correctly as well. And since we're getting back to response, this agent's code is running properly as well. Let's quickly take a look into what this is doing now, because we only have a couple lines of code and the final line is just printing it out. So with this 3 lines of code, we already have an agent. So let's see how it is working. So first, we are importing a couple of different classes. One is agent class and another one is runner class. And agent class is the one that where you define your agent. It accepts multiple parameters. So if you dive into it, you will see it accepts prompt, what kind of system prompt you want to provide. We're not going to talk about handouts, but a model as well. So if you want to specify your own version of the model, you can do that as well. And by the way, OpenAI Agents SDK is model agnostic. So meaning you're not tied up to using OpenAI's models only. You could also use models from Anthropic, or you could also use local models using Olama. But that's going to be a completely different video. So we're not going to focus on that today. But some of the other parameters that you can pass are input guardrails, output guardrails for safety, and there's multiple others, but you get the idea. Here in this case, we're passing name as just an assistant, but you could name this anything. So for our quick demo, let's just call it a weather agent. And on instructions, this is where you pass in the system prompt, and depending on what kind of system prompt you provide, that caters how your model will generate the response or interact with you. So since we're changing it to a weather agent, I'm going to call it a URL helpful assistant who provides real-time weather info. Sweet. And on the next line, we have runner.run sync. So there's 2 different ways you can run your agent. One is asynchronously and another one is synchronously. So when you run your agent synchronously, what you're doing is you're asking it a question and you're waiting for the response. And as soon as the response comes back, it will be set in the result and you're just printing it out, right? But you can also run it asynchronously. And what that allows you is you can stream the token as the the agent is producing the output. We can focus on that on next video, but just understand that running it synchronously means you're giving it certain prompt and waiting for the response. And once the response comes back, you can print it like it is done here. So because we're converting it into a weather agent, I'm going to pass it a different prompt and then say, tell me a real-time weather in New York City. And I'm going to quickly run it and see what it responds. Well, it's saying I currently do not have direct access to live weather data. And that was kind of expected. And the reason I'm showing this to you is because I want to segue into tools and understand what tools are and how powerful they can be when building your agents. So if you quickly go back to the OpenAI agents documentation again, we're going to click into tools from the left. And there's 3 different types of tools that you can use. One is hosted tools. So these are the kind of tools that OpenAI already provides to you. So all you have to do is specify it and start using it. And some of the hosted tools that OpenAI provides are a web search tool. That's the one that lets your agent to go to the web and search for anything. And that's actually going to be the one that we'll be using for our research assistant when we're building the project later. There's also other kind of tools for searching the file, for interpreting the code, an MCP tool, computer tool, and all that. And these are all provided by OpenAI. But there's also function calling. And the function calling allows you to basically call your own function that you're writing. And since a function can be going into the database, getting the data back, or writing into the database, it could literally do anything you want. And another powerful thing about tools is you can also have another agent as a tool, right? So you don't have to just hand off your task to another agent, but you could also engage another agent as a tool. And anytime the agent on the top requires assistance from other agents, it can invoke those agents as tools. The problem that we have right now here is our agent does not have access to real-time weather. So in order to show how we can allow it to give you access to real-time weather, we're going to quickly take a look into weatherapi.com. And this is going to be a quick detour from our actual project, but trust me, this is going to be really helpful and you're going to understand a lot about tools once this is done. So once you go to the Weather API and sign up with them, you'll get an API key. So let's go ahead and copy that API key because that's the one we're going to be needing for accessing real-time weather information. So let's just go back to Weather API, click on View Docs. If you scroll down, you will see we have a Swagger tool. Click into that. And for the real-time weather information, we have this /current.json file with real-time API. And you can pass in Q, which can be anything from zip code, postal code, IP address, latitude and longitude, or even city name. And that's exactly what we need. So I'm not wasting a lot of your time. I'm going to quickly copy over the function that I had already written and put it in here. And import requests. So what this is doing is I'm going to also replace that with the API key that I'm just copied. We're writing a function that gets a real-time weather information, and that takes a city, right? And when we take that city and we call the Weather API, pass it our API key, and again, don't worry about this API key. This is going to be gone when this video is up. And then we pass in the city. And of course, this is not how you would do in production because you want to make sure your API keys are all secure and all that, but you get the idea. I'm just trying to show you how you can call a real-time weather API as a function tool. So this is just a regular function that will get the real-time weather. When you pass in a city, it goes into this queue here, and then ultimately you get back a response. Now, how do we expose this as a tool to our agent, right? So first thing you need to do is pass in a decorator called function tool, and that will also come from the agents package. So now what this allows is this tells our agent that there's a tool that it can use, but how does it know what to use is by passing that as tools here. So I can do tools equal and then pass it an array. So it can take not only one, but multiple tools. So I'll say, hey, you have access to get real-time weather. If I run it again, You can see we immediately get the weather back for Fort Worth. That says it's 15.4 degrees Celsius, which is 59.7 degrees Fahrenheit, and all this other information as well. So that's how you create your own custom tool so you can allow your agents to also interact with real-time data. All right, now let's take this away since we now understand how function tool works and start from the scratch. So like I said, we're trying to help out our friend Jolly, who is a content creator, and he needs for us to be able to research certain topic and also be able to generate a very engaging script so he can use that to create his own reels. So first of all, let's take an input from our user. So we'll call it prompt. So the users can themselves type what kind of topic they want to research on and then make a video about, right? So we would do prompt equal, take an input from the user, and we'll say enter the topic you want to create a video on. Sweet. So we'll take the input from the user, and now we need to take that input and give it to a research agent whose job would be to go to the internet and research about any topic. So for that, we will call it a research agent. And again, like we did in the Hello World, we'll call our agent class and we will give it a name. That will be a research agent. And we'll also provide it instructions. And on that instructions, we're going to say, you are a professional researcher who can research about a topic. So because we want this agent to go to the internet and be able to search and come back with the results, we will also update our system prompt saying you have access to web search tool that you can use to conduct your research. Sweet. Like I showed you in the beginning of this video, there are tools that are already provided by OpenAI to us, right? So if I go to tools here on the hosted tools section right here, you can see we already have a web search tool. If I click into that, this tool is the one that allows us to search the web. So we're just going to make a use of that. So let's just copy it, head over back to our code and add a new parameter, call it tools. And then we're going to say, just use the web search tool. And that web search tool will also come from our agents package. So let me remove this. We'll call it web search tool. Okay, so now we have our research agent, which is a professional researcher who has access to go to the web and search for anything. And we are also taking the prompt from the user. So let's go ahead and run this research agent. So to run it, we're going to do result equal runner.run sync like we did before. And here is going to first parameter we're going to pass is our agent that we're going to be running, which will be research agent. And second one is what input we want to provide. So previously we were just hard coding the input here, but because we now have an input from our user from the terminal, we're just going to pass that prompt here. So let's quickly test if this is working or not by running it again. Cool. I want to research on MCP. Okay, so we have an error. Oh, actually, we need to call this web search tool and not just pass it as a reference to the method. And also, since we are getting the result back, we want to make sure we print our result by doing that. Okay, test it again. MCP. Oh, sweet. So our research agent is working. It's going into the internet. It grabbed all this 5 key information about MCP. Well, it looks like it's grabbing MCP, not related to model context protocol, but it's on something different reference, but it is still doing the research. So I might want to be a little bit more specific about what MCP I'm talking about, and which is fair. We just wanted to check if it's working or not, and it is actually working. Oh, let me also fix this and add a little space here so it looks better on the terminal. So now that our research agent has ability to go ahead and research on the internet, let's just also create another agent and we will call it a writer agent. And the whole goal of this writer agent is to take the information produced by the research agent and convert that into a very engaging script so our friend Jolly can use it. We will call it writer agent. And for instructions, let me quickly copy over what I have here. All right, so for the writer agent, the instruction that we're going to provide is you are an awesome content creator and you are able to take the information from research agent and format the output with hook. Every content creator needs a perfect hook, title, description, and also hashtags, and ultimately a call to action. So that's what we're telling our writer agent. That should be enough because we don't need anything else. This writer agent does not need to call any kind of external tools or whatnot because it's going to be getting an input from the research agent. All right, so now first our research agent is going to do some research and then it will produce some output. I will store that in the result. So the final output of that is going to be in the final output. So I'm just going to say research agent result equal result dot final output. So this is going to be the text that will be returned by the research agent. And once that is completed, we have our writer agent defined here. So I'm going to go ahead and run the writer agent. And for that, I will do result equal writer agent result equal, I will call our writer agent. And instead of prompt, that was the prompt provided by user, I'm going to directly pass in the output of research agent result. And the final output will be writer agent result dot final output. So that's going to be our ultimate response that we're looking for from our agent. All right, so let me quickly run it. .venb bin python like that. So it's asking for the topic. I'm going to say OpenAI Atlas browser because why not? And just like that, we got our response from the agent. So research agent completed its research. It sent it to another agent called writer agent, and the writer agent has completed writing our script. So our friend Jolly can create his new video. So that's how you can create your own agents. I hope you found it useful. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.